So here we have a nice sunny day again, so let's see if I can go out and do some sketching, maybe learn something about perspective. Let's go. This is me taking the trash out first, just in case you wanted to see that. Alright, so I'm here in Oster Park, which is not too full, but it's usually a nice place to draw. And I thought, to explain a little bit of perspective to you guys, we could concentrate on that pagoda over there. I established sort of where the ground line is, and I think like the horizon line would be somewhere like here, just below, not far below the top of the podium where people are standing. So let me see if I can zoom in again on that one. Yeah, so as you can see, the podium is just a little bit, we look up on it, so we can't really see the feet of the people who are walking there. And aside from that, I sort of did the center line, well, axis of the cylinder that the pagoda rests on. So from here now I'm going to try and continue constructing the top part. So I have the inner and the outer ellipse, and now I start dividing it up a little bit, because I think the pagoda is built out of an octagon, so the whole thing is an octagon, not really a cylinder. You can see it there on the top, so you can see the sides, and you can also see on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 supporting pillars. One is right behind the other, you can't see that. So that's what is going to happen here. Now I start with 1, 2, 3, there's 4 there on the other side, and I'm also gonna draw in the supporting pillars. So now I'm sort of transforming my cylinders into those octagons. As you can see, I have the support struts in now, and I'm also starting to draw a little bit of the support structure around it. So like what I have, well, you can still see the interior ellipse a little bit. I'm slowly going to transform that one into an octagon as well, and it's going to happen down here as well, with the support structures coming at these points. And as you can see, most of the support structures are there. Everything is nicely lined up. I also added this nice little cap or hat to our pagoda. One thing that I always mention is that everything that's front has the nicer, thicker lines. Well, not nicer, just thicker. And in the back, I left my lines on purpose a little bit thinner. And just like as you can see on the picture as well, here, this one I just hid behind it. Maybe just, you don't have to copy exactly what it is. So I'm probably going to add just a little bit of line here to suggest where that back part is. So next I'm probably going to do the railing around here and add a couple of pictures, maybe trees in the background. Okay, so our little scene is sort of getting more and more life. I added just a whole bunch of people and some of the trees in the background as well, some bikes, not as much as there because it would be super busy since it is a line drawing. So as you can see, there's a lot more people walking around, a lot more stuff, and also behind the pagoda. So if I point behind the pagoda, there's a lot of trees and stuff. I did not add all the detail behind the pagoda because I didn't want to make it too busy. So that's why I just added a couple of trees here. So I am now prepared. Also, if I would want to add, I have an extra dirty piece of paper here behind it with me. So I could add some markers here. But before I do that, we're going to do an interesting exercise. We're going to turn it. So we're going to look on the pagoda from somewhere up, a 3/4 view. And for that, we're going to construct a cylinder first. So let's do that somewhere here on the paper. Okay, so here you can see our sort of top hat pagoda thing, whatever it will be. So this area here is basically this area of the pagoda, right? And then for the bottom, I added a little bit thickening, and then this would be the water bed or whatever is running around here where people are sitting. So next thing, I'm going to draw just a bigger cylinder here, like representing this outcrop here, and then probably just close it off with sort of not triangle, the pyramid shape. Is not really a pyramid because it's an octagon as well, but we're just gonna bring all the octagon into one point next. So I created this outer circle or ellipse, as I said, and I split it up into 8 parts just so I can create my octagon. Now we're gonna bring them into the center and then create a smaller octagon in the center, and I'm gonna come up on this center line, put a point dot, and then connect it So we have this nice pointy elevated, not pyramid, but octagonid, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and here the top is sort of done. We have our octagonoid, as I said, and now I have to start coming lower. I have to make sure that the pillars are connecting to these inner things. So this line might be a little bit too out. I will probably bring it a little bit more in. And then we have one here and one here as well. And the ones in the back will probably not be visible. But I'll just work on this ellipse and I'll turn this into an octagon as well slowly and just keep on moving downwards. Okay, so we brought all the information down here. We constructed another octagon here, a smaller one below. We can take that information from here as well. So we see we have that platform which is bigger, and then the smaller one there, and then we have this water thing which is probably also a hexagon. And I built all of this with ellipses and the main cylinder. So this is a good exercise for you as well. If you see something in nature, sort of finding the perspective that it's in, but then redrawing the same thing. Obviously I don't know the information correctly what's up here, because I can't really see. I see sort of what sort of setup this is, and by setup I mean material, but I don't see this platform. So I can just leave that white, or you can add some maybe wooden texture or something, whatever it's to your whatever you like. So I think I'm gonna just add a couple of more people here, and then let's see if I can make this a little bit more interesting with some markers. Something that's worth mentioning that I didn't say before. So my people, my humans, like this is my average human. I really don't go more than that, just sort of a U and another U and then a little head on it. But if you draw it from a different perspective, you have to think of a box. So how would this person fit into this box, and like you have to turn it for that. So obviously if you look from above, shoulders are going to be much wider, and then the feet sort of taper together, and this is what we have with most of our people. And also as they sit, you see them at different angles compared to this. So you have to think in perspective, of course, as you would put them into a box. How would you rotate those boxes? So I don't know how much visible it is, but I took a simple neutral gray. There we go, my style file neutral gray, and I sort of marked the areas where there's like a lot of brushes in the background, and I also just went over the trees a little bit, adding it a little bit of shade. I'll probably take a number 2 now and just go over most of this, because it is quite dark. If you look at it here, it is relatively dark. So I'm going to do that, just go over it, all of it, and then the parts that are closer to us and they're also darker, I'm just going to go over with an N3 and then maybe also an N4, depending how dark I want to make the whole thing. So now we have the neutral gray 2, the whole thing, and now I can take the 3 and just take the darker areas like the pillars, front pillars at least, the top, and also some of the shadow areas here. The rest probably will stay in this N2. Alright, here are we with markers added. As you can see, it pops quite a bit nicer. I am drawing with sunglasses on because it's quite nice and warm and also very sunny, so it might be a little bit off, but I do hope it comes over quite nicely. So I guess next I'm gonna just take a look around if I can put some more things on this page. Let's see if we can do some more perspective things that might be interesting for you. Okay, so I'm trying to do a quick sketch of that one, and for that I'm using my pencil to look at the distance. Like this distance fits like half times in its length. So that's the length of the thing, and this is the front of it. So if I look at the front of the distance from the top of my pen until the end, that's 1. And here is like sort of half of it. So here I'm trying to do the same. So this is 1 distance and this is half of it, and I'm trying to fit that. One thing that I also measured, so let me see, focus. So this also fits sort of into the height plus that little bit there at the top. So that's what I did here as well. So I took this distance and I said, oh, I'm poking myself. So this distance comes here and then a little bit until the top, and I put that little dot there. That's going to be sort of the top of our building. Something that might be tricky there is that we have sort of a jump out. We have that area, and this area is a little bit more to the front. So when I'm drawing here, you can see that very easy here with this. and this part of the roof, that the whole thing comes a little bit to the front, and we're going to have like 2 layers, one back layer and one front layer. So technically this line here of the building is probably here behind this little tower. Let me see there again. So you can see the jump off here and here. Oh, don't focus on my hand, please. Can we lock that actually? Yes, perfect, we locked it. So there and there, and we jump to the front. So this is the sideline of the building, and as I said, on this side is probably here behind this little tower that we can't see yet. Okay, so I found a mistake on my drawing. As you can see, there's a slope, like that roof goes a little bit back, follows this perspective line in here as well. Now on my drawing I made them straight, so that's a mistake. Just because I set everything up straight, I forgot that these go on a slope, so I will need to fix this, maybe something like this. It's impossible to draw while I'm filming, so yeah, I'll just fix it once I turn off the camera. So as you can see, these are fixed a little bit. I fixed these, the bottom ones as well, and they work together now that I added these as well. Since I'm drawing relatively small, it also means that I lose a lot of the detail here, which is good and bad. I like drawing detail, but at least we don't have to spend too much time with all these things. So if you can see, this sort of gives you a relative impression how this building might look like. And yeah, while we're missing quite a couple of the detail things, I think it's there. Once I add those side window things as well, I think we should be there. And then here is our sort of finished. You can work on them forever, but I think this is enough. I went over the roofs because they were a different material, so I went over them with a light. I think it was a 2 or a 1, doesn't matter. And I added a little bit of shadow just based on what I saw in real life out here, which the sun is shining from this area, so this tower is throwing a bit of shadow there, and you can see a bit of shadow of the edges of these towers. There's a bit of shadow there, and you can also simulate some shadow in there. And I just took a much darker one and just filled in. Oh, I forgot to fill that one in, but I filled in the windows and door areas, and here I didn't even draw doors, I just filled in these areas, suggesting that there's something as well. So this is what I like about urban sketching. You can learn quite a bit about perspective if you pay attention, and you also just have fun and learning about simplifying shapes and getting to this result. And yeah, with that, I think this sketchbook page I will stop here. I hope you found this educational. Tell me what you think. I would love to make more videos like this if you guys like them and find them useful. But now it's time to yeah, cycle back and maybe grab some food and just have fun. Okay, bye bye everyone, have a great week, see you in the next video.